Welcome to Make the Norm podcast.
Where we normalize black excellence,
Whisper our failures,
and scream our achievements.
Pro-black, not anti-white.
All lives can't matter
If black lives don't.
Lil' bro turned 18. Better stop. Lil' bro turned 18 and jumped off the steps, putting mama what I put her through, the pain and distress. I feel responsible cause he seen me from the nest. I tried got him, but that could just create a bigger mess. Still I give him low game, like money, everything to a lane. Don't go chasing at the failure, don't go running after pain. Peace of mind is more important than a little pocket change. Can't get high and get the money, can't be thorough in a way. Yeah, I tried letting him know that these streets ain't for play. Matter time for you get hit, it's gonna cost you, you gon' pay. Even worse, you probably lay in the gutter, forever in the slumber. Cause we won't shoot at the cops, but we'll each other. Listen to me, youngin', this ain't really what you wanna. Sit 100 winners just to get it one summer. Have 1,000 women that can keep it 100. They ain't gon' want you when you want them. Ain't no future and no frontin', and that's real.
I'm just offering game, that's the real meaning of
Yo. Welcome to Make the Norm. I'm your host, Trying to Elevate.
Not Reek G's.
What up?
What's going on?
Not much this week.
What's up with your man, Nate Robinson, man?
Dang, my man, I don't know, Paul. I was a little excited to see him on the board, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because I always tell people, man, we so talented that we could do everything. Man.
He's definitely an athlete.
Yeah, and you look at how many athletes play multiple sports. Like not even just like the main people like Michael Jordan, who got a professional baseball career at one point and back to basketball. A lot of people could have went on a scholarship for basketball or football when you look at they college records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I
mean,
was like, boxing, that's different.
I mean, I think he was more nervous than anything. I think once he got in that ring and got on that stage, you could just tell, like, he was trying to get them butterflies off. You know what I'm saying? Because it just was like, ding, and it was like, fuck everything the trainer taught me. I'm going to just run into this nigga head first.
What Mike say, everybody got to play it until they get hit.
Until they get hit. Like, that shit was crazy, man.
Yo, I literally blinked, and he was on the ground.
Like a fucking bowling pin. He like a penguin. He was like a penguin. Like, he had no arms when he fell.
Yo, I was like, yo.
You get an A for effort, man, but damn, man, like, you don't play boxing, bro. Like, you play basketball, you play baseball, you play football. You do not play boxing, man. Like, respect that shit. Like, real rap. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no play.
Then you got this white boy really think he's somebody. And all it's gonna do is create a monster, though. He gonna call the wrong motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? Watch. He gonna call the wrong fighter out.
Yeah.
I mean, because he beat up a basketball player.
Yeah. And, you know, it'll be somebody there to take that challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, he popping on the gram. He talking his shit. He got like 13 million followers. He rocking Nate Robinson jersey. He doing all types of shit. Like, so somebody gonna punch you, I mean, to his head spin.
Dang. He disrespectful, man.
Yeah, he out of line, man. But, you know, shit, he won.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right.
But how you feel about Mike Tyson?
He looked good, man. He looked real good. I'm glad. I'm satisfied with the outcome. A lot of people like he got robbed.
I mean, he definitely got robbed, but you know.
No, we all know that he
what
won.
it is.
Like,
yeah.
There's no need to, you know what I'm saying? It was a charity bout, so
right.
Ain't no need to put two legends against each other inside and outside the ring. You know what I'm saying? And he seemed comfortable with it. Yeah,
I mean, he he like, I feel like I won, but I'm cool with the draw.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But he definitely he ain't an old head I want to run into at the supermarket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talk some shit to or something. Real shit. Yeah, man. He still got it though. Ain't nobody in his age bracket gonna beat him.
No, not at all.
I'll say 45 and up.
I don't even think they gonna get in the ring with him.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was he was looking good. I don't know. I don't think Roy looked too good to me.
No, he was gassed. But then again, he said it with the body shots. He admitted to it. But at the same time, even before he really took, like, I mean, one of the first major hits I seen was a body shot. So that could have did it. But he looked winded from the
beginning. You know what I'm saying? So he was doing a lot of grappling and all that shit. But
so if you ain't see it, you ain't miss nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They both still legendary.
For sure.
And, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to lose.
I think they could have went the regular 3 minutes in 10 rounds, 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Especially Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say Mike might have.
Especially Mike.
Yeah, I don't know if Roy could have did that because you could tell he was just trying to get out each round at one point.
Just trying to last.
And it's crazy because they had somebody had him winning on the scoreboards round 6.
I have no idea. That person needs their job and their license taken, man. There's no way. They need their eyes shut. Like, there's no way he was winning nothing.
Yeah, I think it was a UFC. They say here a UFC fighter or something like that. I ain't get the name though.
Yeah, unfortunate. Son, he's retarded, man. Like, how? Like, what was you looking at? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, what else?
So I was looking at politics, and I noticed that Biden, you know, he putting his cabinet together or making some suggestions or nominees or whatever, and it's looking promising. He actually appointed a Latinx person to Homeland Security.
Okay.
And so that means that they will be directly in charge of immigration issues and these detainee situations. So I'm looking forward to see how he can come in and change. I mean, he got a lot of work to do.
Right.
How he could come in and change these situations that they already in, as far as, you know, them being held under these inhumane circumstances in these detainee centers.
Yeah, they still don't got a lot of kids that located their family, right?
Yeah, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, hopefully, you know, he got a plan. He was real instrumental in the DACA movement, which was something for it's like a movement for documented immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
It was I gotta look it up. I don't want to hack it up, but it was like for people that were already here,
mm-hmm.
that may not have had all of the legal documents to be a citizen, that they was trying to send home, but that's all they know is being here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like taking all the African Americans and sending them back to Africa, and then they're just leaving us there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah, I don't know. You got to be some kind of heartless bastard to just take kids from their families. Like, I don't know. That shit don't even make no kind of sense.
I feel like a lot of times they don't see people of color or minorities as humans. Like,
yeah, shit, even an animal, man. You just take the baby away from his mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even a fucking animal.
That's what they do, man. They've been doing it since the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Snatching our babies, feeding them to alligators and all that. Like,
right.
They vicious, man. They got that vicious in their genetics.
Yeah, they evil. Pure evil.
So. And it's not everybody, but it's like this elitist. It's like this elitist group of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not to say that all white people are inherently evil, but I feel like it's like this elitist thing that they got, where the ones who think they superior feel like it's their duty.
Man, show me all this, man. Show me. I mean, like, show me. It's plenty room to show me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I ain't really trying to all this, all that. Well, y'all look at us as all this and all that. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
show me.
True.
I mean,
yeah. So another thing he did was he appointed a black woman to I think a Homeland Security position. Not Homeland Security. I just said that. To defense position, I believe.
okay.
Yeah. So that's the first time. That's historical. So the first woman to be in charge of, I guess, the defense budget. I'm not sure exactly what the job entails.
Okay.
So, but he apparently he made a promise to put a lot of women in position, or to give them to break down this male dominant hierarchy of positions in politics. You know what I'm saying? By putting qualified women in these spots, and not, and representing. He said that his cabinet is gonna represent the true America. So, you know what I'm saying, it makes sense that you're gonna have blacks, Latina, whites, old, young.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all of these different demographics that we don't see represented in politics. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's usually old white men.
Right.
I mean, that's in a lot of fields, but particularly politics.
Right. Positions of power.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
looking
see,
forward to it. I still am a lot concerned about, his politics. Just because, we not always privy on the stuff that they do behind the scenes, for number one.
Right.
And for number two is I don't like the fact that you can make promises to some people but not to us. Like, you know what I mean? He haven't spoken on what he gonna do for black people at all, for real. I mean, he mentioned something when he came up with that lift every voice and sing thing.
Right.
Which is problematic in itself, the name. But that was back in June.
Mm-hmm.
So when I be asking black people, like, why y'all so confident that he gonna change everything and that, you know what I'm saying, he gonna be for y'all? It's like, if y'all really like, and why y'all against, like, and that's one thing Cube wanted to do, is like, let's get our promises up front, not on the back end, because on the back end it don't mean that. We already put them there.
Right.
But they just, so confident, and he gonna be their white savior. So we'll see.
Yeah. God willing, we will. He'll have more than enough time. Absolutely.
I believe so.
He put something together, that they can go over it, make improvements to it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's specifically for black people. It's specifically for the people that been through the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and that leads
I don't understand how that's so hard. You know what I'm saying?
Because I think it's risky, because that's something that Obama talked about too. It's risky and targeting one group of people because you're doing it at the expense of the other groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a majority people that, I don't want to say a majority, but you got people out there that already don't really, I don't want to say they don't really like us, but they already are not happy with things that are designed to help the poor in general.
Right.
And then when you specifically say it's for black people that are poor, I mean, they just get their panties in a bunch. So they kind of trying to play both sides of the field. They got one foot in, one foot out, and I don't really like that.
Man, fuck
you know what I'm saying?
Let them get their panties in a bunch.
Exactly.
It has to be done.
And that's what Charlamagne said to Obama. Like, I'm not talking about this whole what do you say? A wave, a big wave, pushes all the ships. So some saying he said, but he also mentioned that black people boat got a hole in it. So he basically saying that you can do something for everybody,
right,
that consequently affects black people. And it's this sense of, even if you do that, you don't help us because the system has been specifically targeted to keep us down. So
exactly.
Us having a hole in our boat, even if you move us forward with this whole tidal wave thing, our boat's still sinking. You know what I'm saying? So
it gotta be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing, like, cause Obama, he just released a book and he did crazy numbers. Like, I don't even remember. I think it was 890,000 copies in 1 hour. Yeah, so right now he sold 1.7 million copies, and I think in the first hour he sold 890,000 copies. So that's crazy.
Yeah, that's numbers.
Yeah, and he did an interview on the Breakfast Club. And I was impressed by everybody's questions, like all three of them. You know what I'm saying? I could tell they really prepared for it, especially Angela, what's her name? Angela Yee. Like, I think I always kind of, I don't want to say he was critical of her, but I always wondered, like, why, this is going to be disrespectful. Yeah, how she fit in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And it's not because she a woman or anything like that, but just, like, you know what I mean? It just seemed a little, she wasn't always so vocal. But this time, like, she had questions and she asserted herself, especially when it comes to women in the workplace. She was like, yeah, I heard you had women that was having the same problem as men have. She asked some good questions. Everybody asked good questions, but I really got to see like how intelligent she was and why, what she brings to the show.
Yeah, I gotta check that joint out. I didn't listen to it yet.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, Charlamagne, he always kind of, even though he an asshole sometimes, he will ask you the right questions.
Yeah, I used to didn't like Charlamagne.
I mean, I don't care for him, but he will not hold punches. You know what I mean? He got a name for not holding punches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I think I let everybody else opinion of him influence mine. But then since I've been like I don't know if he changed within the last 5 years, but every time like when I started actually watching the show and listening to him talking all these different things, he sound very intelligent. He sound very pro-black, and he seemed to be the be one of the beacons that kind of keep the culture moving in our direction, in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? He like was one of the few voices I think out there that's saying, yo, this is how we should be doing things when it comes to black people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or even not just black people, when it comes to black men dealing with black women and all these different things that are considered to be progressive, but they really were things that we used to do, in the civil rights era, as far as like family structures and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
A lot of people say Charlamagne holds himself accountable for things that he says he's going to do for people. So people don't know he just did a huge deal with iHeartRadio, and iHeart actually created their own podcast network for him around his Black Effect podcast network, and he took a lot of guys like Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, Tesla Figueroa, the OG Gangsta Boys from Houston, My Sign, and I forgot the young lady name in My Sign,
Tamika Mallory.
Yeah, he actually gave out about 20 shows and got him to buy a bag.
that's what's up.
So, but they said behind the scenes, Charlamagne like really pushed for people to do some great things.
Right.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So what was the whole beef? You know about the beef that him and I don't know if it was actually a beef, but Joe Buttons was kind of going back and forth about. And it seemed like they was arguing who closer to Master to me.
No, I don't know about that.
The whole beef basically was Charlamagne was vocal about, because him and Joe Budden is cool, but Charlamagne was upset with Joe Budden because he said Joe is always getting in his way. Like Joe's always getting his own way when it comes to money, because Joe's view was, I'm going to ask Spotify for $300 million because I know what I'm worth. And Charlamagne like, well, I know what they're offering. You take that and build the kind of thing that I'm building. And Joe was just like, no, I don't want to do it that way. So Charlamagne kind of went on a rant and just said, like, Joe always gets in his way, always mess up the money. But Joe said to Charlamagne, basically, our mission is different. You still want to go get a bag from somebody and do what you do. I know what I'm worth. I want somebody to bring that bag to me and let me
do what I need to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's basically what it was about.
So more so like instead of being on a network payroll, he want to create his own payroll. That's commendable too. That's commendable. But it's weird because it seemed like and they should be working together. I feel like because they both in good situations for one, but they also have similar ideals. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times we are. I was watching this joint with Muhammad Ali. He was doing an interview with it's like a old singer from maybe back then. I don't remember. He was like, he dressed real flamboyant, kind of like they kind of got in an argument on the stage. I don't know. I forget his name. I'll look it up. Soul Brother. No, not Soul Brother. I'm tripping. But they got it. But he was like trying to, Muhammad Ali was trying to break something down, and the bull kept trying to interrupt him because he was, how they always asking Muhammad Ali about racial stuff, and Muhammad Ali like basically like he don't want to hear that. You can't tell me that, whatever rhetoric they was trying to speak when he was like the German can come here, the Asian can come here, everybody could come here and have a better status than the black man. but y'all steady keep on saying that the black people don't have they not being negatively affected by these white institutes.
Right.
And the bull who was an entertainer, I'm not familiar with him because he before my time, but he kept trying to jump in, and Muhammad Ali was like, see, this is our problem. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we supposed to be on the same team basically. Like, you sitting here rallying for Massa, like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So we basically finished what he was saying, and then towards the end of the show, it was broken down in snippets, but eventually he came around and was like, that wasn't his intention, and they got on the same the same page, and they was able to argue they positions together instead of in opposition.
Right.
I think we could take a lesson from that, because that's one of the things that it's not just Joe Buttons, it's all of us. You know what I'm saying? We could do more together than we could do apart, but it's like, I guess people want more sort of recognition sometimes than the actual effect that it's going to have on the community.
Right. I mean, that's what it be, the recognition and the money. You know what I'm saying? They be worrying about more so, than what they claim the cause is for. I mean, not saying they don't really care about the cause, but I mean, definitely the recognition. They don't be wanting to share that. Most people will share money before they share the recognition for something. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, really? You think so?
Yeah. People worry. Look at Instagram. People worry about, being noticed for stuff and fame, and they want to be the first to post something. Yeah. Somebody brain leaking out. Like, they want to be the first to post that. Like, people go in the comments and say, "Oh, give me my credit. You took that off my page." You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I believe something worry about, because they feel like they're gonna get the money regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So recognition can get given to the wrong person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on the situation. So, and some of these people got money already. They're not, you know what I mean? Not that they don't want more, but they cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? They cool. So they be really worrying about the recognition.
But do you think they'd give away money?
I don't think it's a matter about like giving it away or not. It's just that they not worried about the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? They feel like they're going to make the money. You know what I'm saying? But people really, I think you made a valid point. People really be worried about the recognition. Yeah. So it's like taking help from somebody they got to share that recognition.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a narrative that we find a lot in our community is, I'm self-made, I did it on my own, ain't nobody helped me. And it's like, you could be a single mother and you can be, you know what I'm saying, your grandma watch your kid, your mom watch your kid, your aunts always get the kid, but then let everybody else outside the family hear it. It's like, oh, I do this on my own, I'm a single mom, and blah,
exactly.
blah. And I probably shouldn't use that, because I'm not just coming at the women. That was just the first thing that popped in my mind.
Right.
But even with the men, it could be like, I could give you a situation as far as like giving you a job or opportunity, or if you rap, introducing you to somebody, and you know what I'm saying, like making sure that you handle your business rights to put you in a position. But then as soon as you blow up, it's like, oh, I did this on my own. Like, matter of fact, here go an example with men. The whole thing with Meek Mills and what's the producer, Conway. Mm-hmm. Remember that back then, like when Meek first got on?
Yeah.
Like that was the whole thing that was going on there. It was like, all right, bro, do you want to get some bread or do you want the recognition? You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just Conway. It happened several times, because I think it happened with some other producers. Mm-hmm. But it's like, yeah, I want the money, but they want the recognition more.
Exactly my point. They want the recognition more. So.
Oh, for real? Yeah. I mean, I'm see, but the thing about it is, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. Like, we all have a lot of, like, growing up in, majority black neighborhoods under certain circumstances, and just being American in general, it's a lot of misogyny that we taught subliminally, and sometimes I can't decipher between what's misogyny, but I'm not gonna filter myself. So I would rather say it, and then we can have a dialogue about it later. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to keep feeling like I gotta filter everything I say. But I'm like, even like you could tell I'm actively trying to do it, because I always try to use the right terms. As far as like, Latinx. I know that the guy, I know that he's a male, but I don't know what's his sexual preference. So instead of saying Latino, Latina, I'm gonna say Latinx because that's one of the things I learned that can be detrimental. You know what I'm saying? With this whole, sexual revolution or orientation or whatever. Like, it ain't my job to disrespect you because of who you like. It's just these are new rules, and I don't know all of the rules. You know what I'm saying? So, and then some stuff that I might say that's misogynistic, I might not know that they're misogynistic, but this is what America taught me. You know what I'm saying? Just like they taught us violence and all this other stuff. It take more than just one conversation to wipe all of that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? So I will
just
say
think
I'm
the
open.
line be too thin though. Like, you know what I mean? Just because you may have an opinion on something with a female that might not, they might not agree with, it can be looked at as like misogynistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just think the line is too thin or it's too sensitive. Like,
you
know what I'm saying?
Because people don't want you to get it right. They want to just attack you. You. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we can't know everything. I'm not a woman, so I'm not sitting around worried about women's issues.
Right.
Now, if I was sitting around worried about women's issues, y'all would have a problem with that. Oh, why you always worry about women's issues? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I mean, women are a big part of everything. So,
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with knowing about, you know what I'm saying, women issues. You got a mom, you might have a daughter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got a wife. It's just, I don't know. Some things just get taken out of context too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because your point might not be in line with theirs.
All the time.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like just like with that whole situation with the toxic masculinity. It's like, all right, some of these things might be toxic characteristics, but other stuff is just the way that it is. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody jumping on your back when you say something that all women are ABC.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But if I say all women are ABC, then it's like, oh, no, not all women. Then you jump all down my throat. Like, so I think men get real sensitive when you talk about women issues, but they don't realize that they perpetuate a lot of the same things that they accusing us of. They do.
Yeah, for sure. We all do it.
Like, you know what I mean? So
when women amongst other women, they men this, men that. And when men amongst other men, it happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a normal thing.
So I would just say be patient with me. You know what I mean? And that's something that y'all can vocalize in the comments, or you know what I'm saying, just reach out to me, but don't crucify me. It ain't my intentions to slander women. I love women.
For sure. So what else we got? What's up with this vaccine?
The vaccine it's a lot going on in the vaccine situation, man. It's like so like 3 that I'm up on right now are the ones that have the most promise, supposedly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the Moderna vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, and it's another vaccine coming out of Russia that they calling the Sputnik V or something like that. And the one that we've been hearing about the most is the Pfizer vaccine, right? And that's the one we talked about on the show before, which is the mRNA vaccine. The other two I mentioned are a different type of vaccine. They use a viral vector, an adenovirus vector. And the adenovirus is basically like the backbone of the flu or the common cold, sorry. So they basically use that background to put a different, like an antigen. The antigen is what actually makes us sick. That's what our body attack, right? So they use and the vector is just the delivery system. So they use a viral vector called an adenovirus to deliver the DNA of spike protein, which is one of the proteins that's on the surface of the virus. And that's what our body recognize when they go and attack it with the immune system. So the problem with that, with the adenovirus, even though they saying that is 91.4% efficacy, they don't mention a lot of the stuff that's surrounding it, right? So they did two different studies. It was 2 doses. The first dose is called a prime, the other one is called a booster. And one example, they messed up and they only gave the patients a half dose. And in another joint, their attention was a full dose. But they actually got better results with the half dose, which was a mistake. So now people like looking at it like, oh, why I'm gonna trust y'all and y'all can't even get this right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but the half dose wound up being more effective. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? We don't know. We don't know why that is.
Right.
One of the speculations is that your body, because adenoviruses are so common, your body going to create an immune response to the vector and not the actual plasmid that the vector encodes.
Okay.
And it'll just kill it off before you can have an immune response to it. So that would make it less effective. But one of the companies is using 2 different adenoviruses, so that's where they're getting that increase efficacy, because the first virus is in, let's say, adenovirus A, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second virus is in adenovirus B. So after they take up the antigen from A, when it goes to attack B, it's going to recognize both the adenovirus and the antigen. So then you have a better immune response with your booster. But they want to do the boosters after 14 days. I think that's just too close, and they don't know how long the vaccines last.
Right.
Or they don't know if we still going to be able to transmit it if we get vaccinated. So if I get vaccinated and then I get exposed to the vaccine, can I still give it to my grandma?
This shit just seemed like a big mess, man.
Yeah, it is.
I just think they should just promote just people just take care of themselves, man, and build your immune system and do certain things. Like,
it ain't in their best interest, man, because that's how you know it's deeper than this virus. The virus is not that simple. They obviously got some type of ulterior motive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's control, it's power, it's a lot of different things.
Some people think it's depopulation.
See, I don't really understand the depopulation theory, because a lot of the elite depend on us to line their pockets to keep their generational wealth, right? Because we consumers,
right? So
they need consumers. You know what I'm saying? A king ain't nothing without subjects,
right?
So that one I really don't fall for here. But when it comes to, like, you know, things that happen in these other countries, or on the continent of Africa, maybe it's some vile, sick, you know what I'm saying, thing that they got going on. But, you know, then again, they use these other places to test their vaccines. Like the vaccines that are not here now, they testing in Turkey, they testing in Brazil, they testing in and somewhere else. But I don't think there's no European countries on the list.
Right.
So they just use us as guinea pigs and shit like that, which is messed up, man.
Right.
Messed up.
But at the same time, is there another way to test it?
To test the vaccine?
If you don't use people.
Well, I mean, so the hierarchy is usually you go from mice to rats to some type of non-human primate, like monkeys. Usually, like rhesus macaques is a good model. But usually the response, the data that you get from mice is going to be represent the low side of what can happen, mm-hmm. or the low possibility, and the monkey's going to represent high possibility. So it's possible that the answer to it is somewhere in between. You won't actually know until you go into humans, and it's unethical to go into humans.
Right.
But what they've been doing is getting people to volunteer. So one of the companies, maybe AstraZeneca, maybe they want to, I think they are the company that is using, matter of fact, I'm not going to say a name because I don't remember which one it is. But one of the companies got like 95 volunteers. They want to subject some of them to the healthiest ones, the ones that are low risk, mm-hmm. to the actual coronavirus to see how effective it is.
Right.
And that's another thing I want to pick up, like for people that's keeping up with it. Efficacy and effectiveness is two different things. Effectiveness is how well it will work in a population, and efficacy is more so how efficient is this vaccine at doing what it's supposed to do. So when they say 91% efficacy, that means is very efficient. It works, but that doesn't mean it's going to work in 91% of the people that is put in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they use a lot of these different terms to throw people, not I don't want to say to throw people off, but so that everything seems good, because we don't know all of these different terms. We can't ask the right questions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everything look good when you see 91%. You're like, damn, man, the flu only 40-something% now.
Right.
So this is good. But at the same time, they're not showing you, they don't have no information, no data on side effects. That right now they just got basic side effects, so they say. which is sore arm, fever, fatigue. That's what you're gonna get when you get a flu shot.
Right.
But they only been looking at that for I think 2 months. And usually you would do this phase 1 and 2 trials would be like 5 years.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Shit. It's like the plot thickens.
yeah. It's actually a bull. What's the bull? I think he was the vice president of Pfizer at one point. Pfizer is the one that got the mRNA vaccine that we talked about last time. He was the top scientist there. He got degrees in biochemistry. He got a degree in immunology, a PhD, MD in immunology, and he basically saying that we don't need a vaccine, and he's saying that because so usually a pandemic is considered under certain circumstances, and when the flu, so like, and then you would compare it to a known disease or a known virus. So with the flu, the mortality rate is like 0.2 or like point. I forget the statistics, but he's basically saying that the statistics are skewed to misrepresent the numbers as far as like how many people are actually at risk.
Right.
So right now, 7% of the UK have been affected by the coronavirus. So they assuming that the other 93% of the people are at risk. But in actuality, not, because tests have already shown, and immunologists have already shown that close to 30% of the population have antibodies towards these coronaviruses already.
Okay.
And another 7 to 10% are the children. And the children, they are resistant. They're not even, so you got 7% of just in that children that are resistant, meaning that they never seen the virus. But if the virus were to get in their system, they still wouldn't be affected by it because they can resist it.
Right.
And so that's another 7 to 10%. So that take you up to like close to 40%. You don't vaccinate healthy people with those type of statistics. That's what he's saying. And then it's also not taking into consideration that some children under the age of 10 that it hasn't been shown that they can pass it, that they are transmitters. But whatever age they do become transmitter, it's not even shown that if they are effective transmitters, or if that immunity is or once they gain immunity, should they still be vaccinated?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because vaccines don't typically work in two populations. That's the elderly and I don't say they don't work, but they're less effective in the elderly and in the youth, the children under 11. So they're not taking a lot of stuff into consideration because they got these mathematical models, and he got a whole little theory about, not theory, but he got like data to back it up, talking about why it's just like we don't need a vaccine, especially not one that's not going to be tested properly.
Right. So I don't know. I like his theory.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just worried that they might try to force us. That's one of the people are calling the conspiracy theories. But one of the things I'm worried about is that they will try to restrict us if we don't.
Yeah, you can't travel, can't work, can't do all this type of stuff. Yeah. That's gonna create a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because there's gonna be plenty of people. You gonna have those people who just don't like to be told what to do.
Right.
That's gonna be an issue for. And then you gonna have people who just is like, why are you making me take something?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or if you messing with their livelihood.
Yeah, you messing with their livelihood by, you know what I mean, making them take something.
Take this business trip because I ain't getting this vaccine.
Exactly. So.
And then let alone if you give them the vaccine, and then, and matter of fact, one of the phase trials, they had to stop one of the trials because 2 people developed neurological disease. Yeah, but they paused the trial.
You know, back in I seen a joint from like back in the fucking 60s or something. It was some 70s. It was some type of pandemic, and it was a white lady had all this neurological shit.
Yeah,
and she had a vaccine.
Yeah, that's the boy. Somebody, one of the boys in the NY be talking about stuff like that all the time.
Right.
And he did a video on that joint. Remember? Yeah, I think it was back when polio was around.
I think it might have been polio.
She got the polio vaccine and it messed her up.
Yeah, that shit tore up. Like, so shit like that. I mean, you know, it wasn't a whole bunch of people, but still, one is enough, like, to scare motherfuckers.
But then the whole thing about it is, like, they know that these joints are potentially harmful because they got legislation passed that say that you can't sue if something happened to you with one of these vaccines.
Right. So that's BS right there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, completely transparency. They ain't doing that.
And I don't expect that they're gonna tell us what's in it because right now everybody is trying to rush to be the first to get that bag, especially a company like Pfizer, because I think Pfizer, they didn't take any government money, but Moderna did. So Moderna is, I guess I don't want to say that they're not in as much as a rush. The government going to want to see a return on their investment, so they're going to get Moderna vaccine regardless.
Right.
But Pfizer, they didn't take any government money. They need to come out first so that they can have the first option. So that way, you know what I'm saying? Even though y'all funded some of Moderna, John, like, it ain't out yet, so y'all gonna have to purchase some of ours.
Right.
And I think their capacity is they saying that they can produce 10 million vaccines, you know, once it's perfected, but that's still not enough. That's still not enough for most of the population, that especially the people that need it.
Right.
But I don't really see the need for it because, like I said, vaccines aren't that effective in elderly. So if you have this untested vaccine, you just gonna go and give it to the elderly and go give it to children that's healthy right now. Yeah, like that don't seem ethical at all. Yeah, so I don't know what they got.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't be giving it to people who healthy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like, period. Especially if they made it through, you know, all that time and not caught it.
Right. That's not what vaccines are for. That is not what vaccines are for.
You shouldn't do that. That makes no sense. Yeah. So
I mean, to them it makes sense because they saying it's a pandemic, and by saying that, they are assuming that everybody is at risk. But let's say me and you already fought it off. Should I get you know what I mean, a vaccine? Like, right. No, then now you forcing it on me because I'm already immune to it. I got natural immunity to it.
Right.
So that wouldn't be fair. But
yeah, I think you should just move on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But then a lot of times these tests are unreliable. So the nasal joint that they do could come back negative. You can get a false positive or a false negative. You know what I'm saying? So that's unreliable. And then they go and send the ones that come back positive, they confirm it with something called a PCR. Mm-hmm. A PCR is just a test that basically can pick up. So when you do a swab, you taking DNA. The PCR, in a PCR test, you could break that DNA down to its basic structure and then have the PCR machine build it back up, right? Based off of the ingredients so you put something in there called a polymerase, right? So the polymerase know how that DNA is supposed to be. How, you know what I'm saying? Remember how I told you that the nucleotides match, like they only can go one. So the polymerase got like a set code on it, right? Mm-hmm. So now the DNA that matched that code, the opposite is opposite letter or whatever, can recognize and build back that structure based off of the polymerase that you put in there. And then when it get rebuilt, it could tell if it's positive for corona. Right. Like if it's not corona, then it won't get the DNA won't show up in the finished sample, the final product. But if it is corona, it'll show up in the final product. You know what I'm saying? So, right. But they saying even with that, that's not even reliable because they only basing it off a few proteins, like spark proteins. These spark proteins are spike proteins. My bad. The spike proteins are the proteins that's on the surface of the virus. But that would assume that that's the only thing that the body is recognizing, right. Which may not be the case. So
yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. God willing.
Inshallah.
So that looks like that's all we got for today. Unless you got something else you want to go over.
No, we done. So was that. It's a short show today.
Yeah, a little 45 minutes. It's all right. See y'all next week, man. Thanks for tuning in. Make the noise. Subscribe and share. See, I'm behind this mission. I just need y'all to
black man, leave a bill. Night